Hello people worldwide and welcome to our June 2014 Awesome Blogging, Profitable Websites and Boosting Your Reputation 24/7 webinar. It's an absolute pleasure having you along, and I have to say this has been one of the best turnouts I've ever had to one of my live webinars. But welcome all. Thank you for coming in early. I promise to work hard for you all tonight and talking about the amazing topic of blogging and how to make it really work commercially for you. Now, a few quick things. If you're watching this on YouTube, previously, make sure you check out the comments and visit my awesome marketing vault and all that type of thing. And if you're here live, it's great to have you on here and you can ask me questions in real time. So this is being recorded, so of course you want to stay for the action, but you have to run, feel free to. And you can type me questions anytime and I'll get up to them. So it's a great pleasure to have you here tonight, and it is 7 p.m. Sunday, Australian Eastern Time. So I promise to work hard for all of you great people and make this worthwhile as possible. So tonight we're talking about not just blogging for the pure heck of it, but actually blogging for money. And this is a very, very important topic for me. And just so you know, I know a few people on the live line tonight, and there's quite a few people here I haven't met, so allow me to introduce myself to you. My name is Edward Zier. I'm a marketing mentor and I help small businesses. And I do a lot of work around Sydney and actually worldwide now. I do a lot of marketing training, sales training, a lot of business mentoring. I'm a leader at 4 Networking, and I'm also a blogger. Now, if you can just tell, I didn't just make up the fact that I'm a blogger. If you visit my website and click on the Edward Files, you'll see some great stuff. And I'm being prodded along. My mate Paul Sheaf is on the line. He knows who I am. All right, there's enough about me. So anyway, feel free to visit my website to learn more about me, but Paul's nagging me and telling me to get right into it. So love it when the audience interacts. Thank you, Paul. There you go. Now, tonight, what I want to do is basically achieve this. I want to deliver you some amazing content. I'm not here to mess you around. I want to cut to the chase and tell you the facts, the good, bad, and the ugly. And I want to teach you the proven marketing side about what I'm doing, and of course I want to impress you. So hopefully, if you haven't already, you'll purchase some of my fine products and services. But again, I'm not here to sell you. I'm here to help teach you the great stuff, and then hopefully one of you guys will hire me. Now here's the big thing. In all my webinars can get very, very technical, and don't worry, it's being recorded. Take one step at a time. Don't get overwhelmed. And take one juicy bit of time. And remember, I'm around afterwards if you want to talk, so feel free to email me. Or best thing still, just so everyone can benefit from the actual webinar, please get your questions to me in real time. Paul's awesome. He's always a good person to have on the webinars. Technical is good. Yeah, I was just going to say, if you've got questions, it's great if you can please get them out on the actual webinar, because usually if one person's got a question, chances are everyone's got it, and then I can answer it for the benefit of the whole audience. So please get it out. And here's the big thing. You'll notice from all my webinars, I'm a massive fan of Rosie the Riveter from World War II. And this is what I see marketing all about: making your business more awesome, making your business more awesome, helping people find it, and selling more stuff. So that's really what it's about. Motivation, positive motivation. Now, getting straight into the content. Why are we here tonight? And I just want to step back a little bit before I start talking technicals and how to write blogs and all that sort of thing so you can walk away and do it. I sort of want to go back a little bit into logic and give the sort of, previous context to it. Now, blogging in my mind is a very overused term. Now, I've technically blogged for a few years, but to be straight up with you, I really started heavily blogging at the start of 2014, as you can just tell by my blog posts, frequency on my blog. I pretty much blog every day, sometimes more than every day. And, blogging is actually a form of journaling. And I was just, as I was eating my dinner before, getting ready for the webinar, I was actually reflecting on what blogging is in a pre-internet context. So I came up with this metaphor. So obviously blogging today is an online thing, but the way I see it, imagine if the world was some little medieval village. Blogging would you be, let's say, writing a note every day and passing copies out of the note to everyone in the street, giving a free tip while you're selling books at your bookshop. That's one of the best, I suppose, medieval day metaphors that I have. Poor Paul hasn't had dinner yet. Sorry for rubbing that in, everyone. I'm eating chocolate now. Yeah. Now, so what blogging is in today's world is a form of journalism. And it's very, very useful for a range of applications, be it for marketing a personality, teaching on a topic, or even selling a particular product or service. Now, that lovely man who looks like Ricky Gervais is a very good friend of mine from the United Kingdom. His name's Stefan Thomas, and he actually is the author of Business Networking for Dummies, and he runs 4 Networking across the United Kingdom, basically. Brilliant man. I spent a good week with him, traveling to all the 4 Networking UK groups. And, even though he's not really a blogger, he's blogged a little bit. he's actually got the Real World blog. He's actually written a book, which is quite amazing. And what's interesting, he's written an amazing book that's kicking butt. Now he's getting into blogging to help sell his amazing book. So blogging to me has a range of objectives. And I guess tonight I want to, or today, depending if you're watching the recording, I want to teach you the good, the bad, and the ugly about blogging. The reality is blogging does take a bit of time, takes a bit to get going, but the payoff of it is just outstanding, and that's really what I want to share with you all tonight. And very, 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 very powerful technique indeed. And there's a lot of benefits to blogging. So blogging, of course, is a way of promoting yourself. You put your blogs out there, it gives you exposure and reputation. It also has a lot of other benefits beyond direct sales as well. Blogging can help boost your reputation generally. It can help you get more speaking slots, get you more clients, help you get more exposure and improve your reputation. Now, that photo of me is with the amazing Moira Cameron. Now, Moira Cameron, this is taken in the Tower of London behind the scenes. Moira Cameron is the first female beefeater, basically a ceremonial guardian of the crown jewels. And it was really through blogging that, I impressed a lot of my friends from the United Kingdom, and I was able to actually consult to the first female beefeater, the first female in an order of over 500 years. And this is only recently, so my head's still buzzing from that amazing experience. And I suppose what I'm sort of getting at is, look, I'm sort of coming at blogging, and the reason why I started blogging was for a commercial agenda. And commercially, it has been amazing for my business. It's been transformational, actually, from a range of perspectives in terms of getting more leads and getting that exposure and also getting speaking gigs. The thing I'm sort of pointing out is that it really helps you get amazing exposure and that type of thing. So there are a lot of benefits of blogging. Yeah, it does take a bit of time. I'm not going to sit here and say it's just easy and you'll make $1 million $1 million tomorrow, because you won't. It takes a lot of work to get going, but boy, when you get into it, it's completely amazing. I've got to sort of call that one. So I'm going to go back a little bit and go in the history and context of blogging. Then I'll show you what I'm doing and show you all the techniques, but I think it's good that we all understand this. So look, what blogging is blogging is an abbreviation for the term weblog. And early in the development of the internet, it was called a blog. So weblog, blog, that's where it came from. Now, me being a nerd as well, blogging was originally started from nerds, more or less, who were basically having diaries online or recording their own experiences. So early blogs, there was this site called GeoCities, and even I had a blog in those days. I didn't really stick to it consistently, but I did some amazing stuff there. So look, what blogging did in those days, which was just amazing, was that it's a great way for nerds or people to get down their thoughts. So start off with like technical nerds like me, and then later on it more moved to a lot of technical people, a lot of academics got into it. Let's say they had a blog talking about some of their research and findings, so the students will find them. And then over time, blogging became a bit more commercial. So people started figuring out, well, hang on, if I'm a fitness trainer and I write a blog about losing weight, and build up a readership around that, that's going to create a lot of interest around me, and people might hire me or buy whatever I'm buying, be it I'm selling personal training sessions or I'm selling an online product of some form. So, think of it that way. Blog is basically giving away free information with the goal of building your own profile, and that can lead to a range of things. You might just be blogging for the sake of it. You might be blogging for the fun of it. Not all blogs have to be commercially driven, but of course, bringing it back to money, which is the name of it, blogging for money. You want to be blogging and giving information around the topic of interest. So again, using the simple fitness trainer, and I've always said this, if I was a fitness trainer and I was sick of, doing PT sessions, I would create a blog, I would become a massive blogger, and I would sell online products. I would have no problem doing that. I've basically done the same thing, but as a marketing mentor, which is, definitely where I'm sort of taking my business. So that's the actual context where it comes from. And I wonder if any of you guys can, if anyone can tell me the size of that disc in inches, send it through. I'll give you a good shout out on the line. I actually found that image. It was a good blast back in history. Now, this is the market psychology of blogging, and I was sort of saying this before. Think back to, say, the newspaper days where you're more likely to read a column and fall in love with a particular journalist. Wow, Paul Sheep is amazing. He got the 3.5 inch floppy disk. Oh my God, I spilled hot chocolate all over me, so I better pay attention. Getting too excited. Huh. Now, I'm going back. So what the journalist is, and what I'm saying here is that, think back to, I'm just going to use newspapers here as an example, so sort of pre-internet, and the way that it works with people. So blogging is basically, think of the whole internet being a newspaper, and every day you're writing a column in it. Now, basically, if you're reading the newspaper, you might have seen a journalist that you fell in love with, someone you found really intelligent, someone you found really clever, and over time, over more and more time you read their materials, you develop an affinity with them. Okay, so for example, I read the Darren Hinch blog, and I've developed quite an affinity to him. And this is the way it goes. So a blog is constantly putting out, information. Now, in terms of the commercial outcomes, as you write one article in cyberspace, it can really be their forever permanently advertising for you. And this can be good and bad. So when you blog, if you're blogging about something sensitive, just remember it can be in the internet forever. Okay, but most, at the end of the day, most of us are pretty sort of benign business people. We were pretty straight up. So you can blog about information. If you're being controversial, just be careful, because I can obviously do that sometimes. But most of the time, it's pretty straightforward. And here's a good thing, and I'll be straight up with you, writing a blog and distributing it will not do your business any good. Just sending out one article is pretty pathetic. But over time, every blog article you put out there, and this is the way Google sort of put it, is an extra fish in the ocean to really sort of grab attention and attract other people to selling your services. So, for example, if you just write one article and distribute it, or just do an article a month, it's okay, but I wouldn't expect anything, earth-shattering from it. But here's the thing. But if, let's say, you write, I'm pretty extreme. I'm blogging once a day because I'm building myself as a full-time blogger. That's the direction I want to take my business in. I want to be a full-time blogger selling online products and doing a lot more online work. And running for networking. That's always the way I wanted to go. And that's where I'm sort of taking it. But it sort of depends on your objectives. So here's a good thing. Whether your blog gets read one or a million times, it takes no extra work from yourself. So once you've got the blog out there, it's amazing. It's forever in cyberspace, promoting you, depending on how it's written. Yeah, so, and that's pretty much a good outcome of it, and that's how it works commercially. Now, here's the big thing, and it's important to have the commercial outcomes in mind. Now, you need relevant and intelligent content to help you build trust with the audience so you can offer them whatever you're selling, And I'll sort of explain that point in a bit more detail, and I'll sort of explain some my own probably not, I wouldn't say failures, but my blog didn't work originally quite well the way I liked when I started, but now it's working great. When I first started blogging, I would just blog about my experiences that day and what I've been up to and that sort of thing. And even though it was very interesting reading, when I started blogging about what I was feeling and going through, it was very, very good in terms of getting a following, getting exposure, and getting people liking me. And it actually led to quite a few one-on-one clients because, people would actually read my blogs, they'd get into me. And, and if someone needs a lot of people follow my blog, and there's a lot of people who follow my blog who may never ever hire me or buy any of my products. That's totally cool. But some people who follow my blog, they might just connect with me online and say, you know what, I don't mind. I'm going to buy Edward's online product, or, I'm going to buy, or I'm going to hire him one-on-one or go to one of his workshops or whatever they want. Okay. Now, the trick was I was just blogging quite randomly at the start. I was more talking about the way I felt and the emotions that I was going through. But as I've gotten over time, and I got some great advice from my friend Suraj from the United Kingdom as well. He's actually a full-time blogging mentor. He's been blogging pretty much since the start of the internet. And a big thank you for him for some of the content here, is that when you sort of blog over time and you get better at it, you sort of learn to tighten it. So, for example, I used to blog a lot about general business and the way I feel, but now I'm blogging more about business, about small business marketing. So again, at the end of the day, I'm a small business marketer. I'm a marketing specialist, and I work with a lot of small business owners, and a lot of my products are aimed at that market. Okay, so the more and more I do of blogging and that sort of thing around the marketing topic, the more effective it is. Because again, if I'm just talking about the way that I feel or what I've been through, it's engaging and people get to know me, but how is it relevant to marketing? Okay, so here's the big thing. You don't have to sell, and this is the thing I want to clarify, you don't have to sell online products on a blog. You can sell nothing. And some people just do it. Some people just blog, and I'll phrase this carefully. Some people just blog just to build their profile and build their reputation, and that in itself sells them. And I did that originally, but now I'm a lot more pointed with my blogs as I'll go through. When I write a blog, I write about a topic, and then I recommend people to check out my online product and actually buy it. So getting a lot more pointed and specific over time in that regard. Okay. So the trick is a written article. It might take you, 3 to 6 months of blogging until it starts working for you. Mine sort of started working after about 6 weeks, to be honest. Mine worked quite early. Mine worked quite well early on. But let's say it takes you 3 to 6 months to get going. Blogging is not a fast, and I don't think there really are any get-rich-quick strategies. But blogging is certainly not one of them. But then I don't know any short-term strategies that actually work without being illegal or just totally tipping over afterwards. So, yeah, I hope that helps. And please get your questions through. I'm sort of reliant on questions. Otherwise, I'll just continue my merry way. So here we are. Now, there's probably about, I don't know, 19 million different blogs out there. So just type blogs into Google and give yourself a headache. You'll get overwhelmed very quickly. Now, there's everything. Now, I've got a screenshot from Darren Hinch's blog on the right, which you don't know Darren Hinch if you're one of my friends from the United Kingdom. He's basically a shock jock journalist who's always in and out of jail for, let's say, breaching court orders and that. Really cool guy. But the thing is, you've got blogs for everything. I've seen blogs for dog food, to holidays, to wealth building, to forex trading, to Christians finding love, and even to my own marketing advice. And it's endless. So my advice is type in blogs. And if you haven't, I'm sure, look, there'd be very, very few people on this line I think has never actually read a blog before, okay? So there's heaps and heaps of different stuff there. And my friend Paul is once again judging, Paul Sheaf. Now, I've got a great question from the awesome Len Elias. Great to have you on the line, Len. And what Len asks is, how is blogging different to a short newsletter about a topic? Well, it actually could be quite similar. So what Len's asking is, let's say I send a email newsletter to a bunch of people about a topic, or, I write a blog about it. Well, the thing is, a blog technically is a weblog, which is a log which sits on the internet. That's technically what a blog is, okay? And what a newsletter is that a newsletter is actually an email that you send out with information. So even though you might, for example, and this is where it comes in, information you can send in emails can often be very, very similar to emails that you put on a blog. But I suppose what the difference is, through a newsletter, it'll get deposited in people's inboxes, and you need their email address to begin with. Whereas in a blog, it actually sits in your website. Now, a good way of putting it, Len, what a lot of people do very well, and I do this in particular, is you have a blog, but your newsletter points towards your blog. So when people open their newsletter and you just have a little teaser of an article, you click the article, it goes to your website. And think of your website as your mini shopping mall. Or if you're from Australia, the United Kingdom, you'll know what Westfields are. Think of it as your little Westfields. You go into your little Westfields. But the whole idea is to bring traffic into your little Westfields so that, they're more likely to buy something. So that's pretty much it. Now, a great question from Paul, and I love Paul. He asked some great points. Paul's got a new website being built right now and includes a blog page. Wondering what to write there. Man, this is a great question. I suppose this is obviously a big point of the webinar. Now, what Paul is asking is, what am I going to blog about? How's it going to work? How's the content going to look? What's it going to be made of? Very, very, very good questions. Now, the best way I have of putting it is, you got to, and I'm going to talk commercially here. I'm going to talk about it from a money-making point of view, because I could say write about whatever you're interested in, but it may not make money. Now, Paul is a video guy. He does really good quality videos, or great quality videos. I've seen some of his work firsthand. And in that case, doing information about videos. It could be, how to use the equipment, the type of video shoots that he's done. It could be tips on doing your own videos. It could be, production advice. Thank you for that. It could be, it could be about his experiences and working with different clients. It could be, how to do selfie videos with your mobile phone and how to get the content right, how to word it. So what I'm getting at is Paul's actually giving away free information, but in the process of Paul giving away free information, it makes him the expert in what he does. And of course, people like hiring experts. So it's sort of give and take. Instead of just putting out banal advertisements all the time, just advertising people, oh, buy my stuff, you're actually putting out compelling, intelligent content. So people, choose to buy your stuff that way. And that's really the power of blogging there. So I hope that helps. I got a great question from Rebecca. Thank you for this one. Now, Rebecca's asking a brilliant question. How do you find the keywords and topics that you should blog about? Now, that's an amazing question, the keywords and topics that you should blog about. Now, in terms of, and I'll go back a little bit, and this is where it takes a bit of strategic thinking in when you're doing a blog and that type of thing. When you do a blog, and this is where it gets very subjective, is the big question is what to blog about. Now, I look at this from the point of view of making money, okay? So if you're, and I always think, if you're going to be an expert in something, you just can't pick a random topic and become an expert in it. Like, something I don't know much about is, let's say, knitting. I know absolutely nothing about knitting. And, why would I do knitting? If I did a blog on knitting tomorrow, it would be a complete joke, and all the pros can see through me. Whereas, let's say, programming in HTML. I don't know how to program in HTML. It's a language for a website. I don't want to do that, and I'm not good at it, so I wouldn't do it. But if it's, let's say, face-to-face selling, marketing, online marketing, using machines, I can do that really well. So, first thing, I think strategically, Rebecca, definitely blog about something that you're an expert. Two things in the way I look at it. Blog about something that you're an expert in that the market's willing to pay for. So feel free to tell me what you do for a living, Rebecca, and I'll try and give you some commentary on that. So please let me know that, and I'd love to give you some more commentary on that one. Now, another good question that's come in is Paul's come back with a great point. Could blogging be comparable to posting on a Facebook page? Technically not. Now, because a Facebook page technically counts as social media. Blogging isn't really social media. Blogging is a weblog. Blogging is the same thing. It's a weblog. But quite often, what I do especially, and I'll show some screenshots afterwards, is I'll do a blog on my website, and every blog has its own link, and then I'll share it through my email newsletter, such as Len indicated. I'll share it through Facebook, LinkedIn, that type of thing. So there's very different ways of doing it. So here we go. Rebecca's come back. Actually, Rebecca, and I'll read out Rebecca's reply because it's given a very, very good insight here. Now, Rebecca has said, home loans, not the most interesting topic for most. I guess I'm looking at blogging for SEO, therefore I want to try and hit some keywords as well as interesting stuff. Thanks, Sips. Great one. So Rebecca, let's say, she does home loans. Very, very easy topic to blog about in that respect. It's a matter of anything can be blogged about. So obvious things that Rebecca can talk about. She can talk about, she can talk about products. She can talk about different types of home loans. She can talk about when interest rates comes out. She can give commentary on properties. She can give commentary on properties that tend to do well. She can give, commentary on what the top banks are doing. She can sort of play business journalist. She can play educator. So what I'm saying is, even though Rebecca is selling the product of home loans, there's a lot of different angles on it. What are the banks up to? What are the mortgage brokers up to? What's the government up to? What's the interest rate up to? So there's heaps of different angles on the same topic. And Rebecca's made a good point. She said SEO. Now, SEO stands for search engine optimization. When you blog, the idea is, as you blog about your topic, it sort of goes without saying. If you're, let's say, I'm making this up, but let's say Rebecca is based in the part of town where I live. I live in Ashfield, which is an inner west suburb in Sydney. So let's say Rebecca hypothetically lives as my next door neighbour, and she can hear my webinar now, and she's getting all pissed at me. But let's say Rebecca does home loans in Ashfield. She might write a blog, and she constantly says home loans, and she makes reference to the fact that she's in Ashfield. And over time of doing repetition, having that keyword density on a site, that should appear in Google. So that questions. These are great questions, by the way, people. So feel free to get through. So hope that's sort of given you all a bit of context out there. Okay, now Heath's asked a great question. I've never read a blog. Who does read these? Well, it's funny actually. There's several answers to that, Heath, and I actually read quite a few blogs. Now, what a lot of people do is people opportunistically read blogs. So let's use Rebecca. So let's say someone types in home loans Ashfield or home loans Wollongong or wherever you're from. When people type that in, quite often a blog article might pick up, and people might click a blog and go, oh, okay, who's this Rebecca woman who writes home loans? Okay, I'm on a website. I might send her an inquiry. Okay. And some people might get into it. So after a while, people might enjoy Rebecca's articles, and they might check in every few weeks and read it, or even every day. I have some people that read my blog every day. I'm not kidding you. Now, Heath asks a very good question. What are blogs? Why would people read them? Great devil's advocate question. And at the end of the day, if you're writing content that's of great interest to people, people read it every day. Like in my own blog, and I'll show you some numbers. I get, last month I had over 1,200 unique people read my blog. It's only in 4 months of blogging, so, or 5 months of blogging. And that's an amazing readership. Now, because the thing is, people that read my blog ultimately are interested in small business marketing, They can follow my blog to learn some great tips on the house. So I'm giving away a lot of information free, and people are getting to like me. But also as well, it gives me an opportunity to sell my products to them. Now, I don't, just to qualify the sell, it's a bit like how I do these webinars. I might sell my services in the webinars, but I'm very quick and respectful about it, So I don't sit there and say, here's a blog, buy my stuff. Here's a blog, please buy my stuff. Here's all this free content, and please buy my stuff. So you want to sort of balance it out that way. Len made a great point. You can add a short video, like 20 seconds to add to the written content. And what's actually a good example is this blog. This webinar on blogging. When the recording finishes, what I'm going to do is get it transcribed. I can get it transcribed for $1 a minute with reasonable accuracy, and then I'm actually going to put this out as a blog article. So ironically, my webinar about blogging will go out as a blog article. So for all you guys to read, for onwards. And there's several motives for that. One is that I only have to do the content once, and it goes out as a blog. The second motive is I've got quite a few awesome clients on the line, so they can sort of appreciate my knowledge. And two, people who don't know me that might be, say, want to hire me, which I would totally love. They can see that I know what I'm on about and that type of thing. Now, a great one for Paul. I love Paul's contributions. Today, I recorded an interview with an accountant firm with Anna Porter, a property investment expert, an amazing gig. Should be on the blog. Absolutely. So what we're talking about is, Paul Sheep's made an amazing point. Now, Anna Porter is a very good friend of mine. She's an amazing property investor. And Paul videotaped it today. Absolutely, I put that on a blog. So, and now Rebecca, and I'll come back to that. Anna Porter is a property investment expert, and interviews with her will be amazing. Definitely bloggable material. Now, going to Rebecca. Rebecca made a good counterpoint, and I'll answer both. Love the transcriptions. I believe in having video blogs, but I hate watching videos. Exactly. Now, the trick is everyone's different. You get visual, kinesthetic, and word people. I'm actually a word person, which probably isn't a surprise when the fact that I'm a blogger. Not quite a visual person. Now, the trick and the way that it works is that it's good to do both. So, you'll see from the blog I do for this one is I'll have a bit of content, I'll have the video, I'll have the transcription beneath it. Some people will sit there and watch the whole video. Some people actually just skim through the transcription, and that's enough for them. So you've got to sort of be able to cater to all the different audiences and types. So I hope that bit helps there. And Greg says it'll be great for Paul to create a video blog. I couldn't agree with you all more. So that's definitely the way it is. Now, this is the hard bit. Now, I've just sat here and spoke to you about blogs. Now, with blogs, there's heaps of different ways you can do it. You can have a blog as part of your website, or you can go to wordpress.com and create your own blog. I certainly recommend having it part of your own website because, like the Westfield shopping mall analogy, you want to bring traffic into your website. There's no point in bringing traffic else out there. That's the way I tend to look at things. But again, it does depend on your objectives. Now, the hard bit of blogging is actually writing blogs, is learning how to write. So, look, once you setting up a blog can be a pain in the butt. Well, WordPress isn't too hard, but once your blog is set up, well, look, after that, it's all pretty straightforward. You just pay someone to set you up if you're having trouble yourself, which is what I did eventually. Now, your first blogs are going to be a bit rough, but you only need 250, 300 words. Your first blog's going to be rough, and they're going to take ages. Now, I can pump out a blog in like half an hour these days, and it sounds very good. Yeah, my blogs, I think, are very, very high quality these days. But 6 months ago, they didn't sound that good. 6 months ago, I was still evolving my writing style. So, look, here's a big thing. My advice to you is to get good at blogging is read a few blogs, try and work out your writing style and your angle and work out your strategy, and start writing articles. So going back to Rebecca, who does home loans, she should start early. I don't think Rebecca should just start writing a blog every day. But what you can do is just write basic articles, maybe once a fortnight, just around the housing industry. Start to get a feel for it, And ultimately, it depends on what you're doing and how much you want to blog. Okay. So now I've got a great one here from Sarah from Treetop Adventures. Great to have you here. Thank you. She's complimenting my webinar. I love your work. Now, what Sarah has said is, how do you take client confidentiality and a permission when writing about your clients publicly? Yeah. Now, it sort of depends. Now, you don't always have to name your clients, right? So, for example, with the clients I work with, I have a very, very good gauge of, what's private and what's not. So if something to do with one of their strategies or some of their logic or their private details, of course I won't share it. But if it's something, that's complementary to my client and it makes them look good, it makes me look good, I'll gladly blog about it. So you'll definitely know that, okay? But, again, you want to be sensitive. So if you're writing about something sensitive, like one of my amazing clients, she was fighting cancer. And I want to write a blog. I knew she'd be fine with it, but I want to write a blog about her and her resilience in fighting cancer. She just said, hey, yeah, but that's fine. Okay, so look, if it's pretty straightforward, you don't have to mention the client. If it's straightforward, it's good not mentioning them. If it's complimentary, they shouldn't have a problem. But, if you're feeling a bit funny, I just ask permission just to be sure. At the end of the day, you're only going to say positive things about your clients. You're not going to sit there and say, oh, my client's, dimwit. You're going to say, my client's wonderful, here's the reasons, okay? And that makes a good point. Now, I've had a lot of people in business rip me off and take financial advantage of me, and not so much in 2014, but I got screwed a lot in 2013. I had a lot of people, I think it was my own business naivety, a lot of people sort of took advantage of me. Now, I haven't named any of them in my blog. I might have blogged about people doing that behavior on me, but it's very important that, you don't get sued for defamation or anything. So if you say something negative, just don't name the person. I just don't go there. Some people do name people publicly. I just stay out of that sort of thing. Because at the end of the day, you're blogging to help people and help promote your business. It's not a weapon, so I just generally stay out of that side of things. So just good to put that out there. But great question. Now, Len Elias asked a great question. How does one set up a blog through the web? Heaps of different ways to do it. One of the most common ones is using WordPress.com. So if you go to WordPress.com, it's owned by WordPress, And anyone, it's basically a do-it-yourself blogging site. That's a great way of doing it. You know, you can set up great blogs through there. You've also got blog, I think it's called Blogger or Blog. I think it's called Blogspot, which is the Google product. Again, the reason why I don't know them too well, I'm actually not a fan of doing that. I'm really not a fan of WordPress.com, and I'm not a fan of the Google Blogger. My view is the best way to do it is build your own website and have a blog in there using the WordPress platform. Okay, so yeah, my view is website part of the blog seems to work better. There you go, blogger.com from Rebecca. Thank you. But again, I think you should have it in your website. I just think I once had a separate blog, and it just didn't make a lot of sense. And eventually it didn't work that well for me. Now, Greg's asked a brilliant question. Is it good to have a blogging plan or write about a relevant topic of the time? Well, my view is that have a blogging plan and write about relevant topics that are suited to your business. So, for example, Greg, for example, works in telemarketing. He's an amazing telemarketer and runs a telemarketing agency. You know, if there's law changes in the telemarketing industry, go for it. You know, if, let's say, a lot of it's moving offshore or onshore, go for it. So you've got to have some flexibility because sometimes stuff will happen which is just amazing and suits your industry perfectly. It's great stuff to sort of talk about. So I hope that helps. So yeah, again, please, when you start blogging, you're going to sound pretty cumbersome at the start. Like if you go to my own blog and go back a few months, I do sound a bit rough, but over time I get more eloquent and sophisticated. Hopefully today I'm sort of sophisticated. So, you know, there you go. Very, very sort of powerful stuff. Now, here's the old thing. I'll share my website at the end, but the Edward Files is my own success. Like all things, I like to lead by example. So feel free to visit my blog and see exactly what I've done. It's called the Edward Files. And I blog on my own website, and I usually do daily or at least daily. I've always done daily, except for the odd occasion where, you know, what will happen is in one day I'll have no blogs, and in the next day I'll have 2 blogs. But sometimes I was on a plane somewhere and that sort of thing. So some days I blog more than daily. So I'm going to say I've been a daily blogger for 5 months. So I think that's technically accurate, and I'm not being too misleading there. But anyway, the point is that I blog a lot because, again, for me, my own goal in my own business is, you know, I love my one-on-one consulting. I want to do more of it. And really, I want to be a full-time blogger who's got one-on-one clients and that sort of thing. I've always wanted to be a full-time blogger, and you know, and I sell online products, which I'll sort of illustrate, you know, that side of things. So, you know, feel free to check out my blog and get a feel for it that way. Now, here's some stats, and, you know, like all things, I blog every day, and my blog is on my own website, and I constantly share my blog. So writing a blog on your website and it just sitting there it's good, but it helps if, you know, puts more content out for Google, but it's hardly a strategy that'll work that well. So you want to write blogs on your website, and then you want to share those blogs, so you get the link and share it. So, for example, there's some stats. This is straight from Google Analytics. You know, for last month, I had 1,200 plus users to my website. And these are individual uniques, so very flattered with that. You know, I had a really, really good response to my website. A lot of people, you know who I am. They're getting involved with me, you know. So from that point of view, I'm very, very happy with how my business, my website, and that's going, okay. So that's a very, very important side of what I'm doing. So it's very, very good. And now here's just an example, which is loading up. Now, this is how I write articles. Again, go to my website, have a look around, and you'll get a sort of feel for it. Now, when I write articles, I write them naturally, and they're in my style, okay? So I'm not here to pretend I'm someone I'm not. I'm here to be me and sort of illustrate that. I have very compelling headlines. So this is a friend written about an article written about my friend Chris Waters and a client. Is it worth your time? Tips on awesome money-making potential. So you want a really good headline. You want to tell a story. Now, what I do, and you're not going to see it here, and you're going to have to sort of go through my blog. I can't sort of do an internet walkthrough on a webinar because the bandwidth just can't keep up with it. But what it does is that when I write a story, I write articles about small business, marketing and sales or something like that. And now in the early part, I have a reference to my online product, the Awesome Marketing Vault. So I write an article about a given topic, and I say, by the way, I do, you know, feel free to check out my online product, the Awesome Marketing Vault. People can click it and go straight there. I then give away the free content, and at the end I have an invitation saying, hey, you know, if you've liked what you've seen, feel free to purchase my online product, the Awesome Marketing Vault. So that could be anything. Let's say you haven't got an online product. You might write an article at the end saying, you know, I'll go back to Rebecca doing home loans. You know, she may write an article on home loans, and at the end she just clicks and she says, you know, feel free to click here. to ask me any questions. And what it does is that, it might just open an email, send an email. Now, I've got a cat chewing the cable, so I've got to be really careful. My cat is very, very naughty. This is Miffy here, always causing trouble. So, and here's a big thing, and this is where I think blogs are a good give and take. A blog is free content. You're giving to me, a good blog is informative and free content. Yeah, I do sell on my blogs. I say, look, please buy my online product. But at the end of the day, I give away way more content than I ever sell. So you got to keep it all fair that way. A bit like my webinars. Do I sell my webinars? A tiny bit, maybe 5%, but the rest of it is all just content. And I think that 95.5% format works really well. Originally, I just used to give away 100% content. It's good, but it's sort of not fair on the person giving away the content because, quite often, unless you sort of invite people to do business with, you sort of don't do it. So yeah, very much. So hope that bit really helps. Just a quick thing. A few people may not be able to hear me at times. It really depends on the internet connection, but I can assure you the recording is very good. So feel free to bear with me, and thank you for that one. So here is the next one. Apply it to yourself. Have to think about what kind of blog, what kind of topic you want to talk about, what you want to do. Think about a topic you love. Think about a topic you can sell. Like as we said, Rebecca, who I'm going to pick on there. With Rebecca, her topic is home loans. So there's no point in blogging about cats or dogs because it won't sell a home loan. So I think link it to your business is the way to do it. And here's a big thing. You can sell anything. You can sell, your own services. You can sell books, whatever the case may be. But here's a big thing. If you're doing online products, and this is another sort of wealth creation strategy, which, is another discussion for another time, is if you go to the site called ClickBank, it is full of probably limitless affiliate products. So you can write a blog about weight loss, and you can find 10 different weight loss products you can sell through your blog. And if someone buys it, you get a cut of that. So heaps and heaps of different strategies. You don't even need to create your own online product, which is something that's quite amazing. So there's heaps and heaps of different strategies out there. So feel free to apply it to yourself. And sharing the content. Now I'm just going to run through a few things, and I've sort of said before, just blogging, isn't going to be that helpful. You want to ultimately blog and actually share the content. So basically, if you're, in the medieval village, if you're writing, articles or bits of paper, you actually want to hand them out to people so people find them and come back. So here's a big thing. Now, a lot of people do blog separate to their website. Now, it depends what you're doing. I'm not a massive fan of this, to be honest. And for most people who are probably tuning into this line, you really want to have a blog on your main website. Because in that way you're bringing traffic back to your main shopping mall. And I'm just going to go through a few of the quick strategies for sharing content. I personally love, just putting blog articles up does help in itself because it's more content for Google to index and for you to get found by the search engine. Facebook is awesome. LinkedIn, Twitter, and email marketing is great means of sharing my content, such as Len picked at the start. And here's a big thing you're probably picking up. All the strategies cross over. It's not like, you're just going to do, you just use Facebook only. Blogging and a lot of these strategies are very complementary to each other. Here's an example. This is a post I did on Facebook. This is quite recently. Did an article, come out through Facebook. The article's seen by 678 people, and I've spent basically, it's a $5 post with $2.29 left. So that's a great strategy, great way of getting traffic to my website. Here is LinkedIn sharing. Same article, but expressed through LinkedIn. So putting the link through there and people picking it up that way. The next article we have is going through Twitter. You can see a range of articles I put through there. Obviously, Twitter doesn't have much text, but it does look very, very good here and a great way of getting my content out. And as Len said at the start, here's email marketing. So as this is just a cut from my newsletter. So there's a panel to my newsletter, which goes out so people sort of get my information that way. And that's, the way it goes. And here's a big thing, and this is being blogging, and please get your questions through because we're sort of coming to the end, is you got to make sure that your website it converts. So what I'm getting at there is that, when you do a photo, pardon me, need some hot chocolate, losing my voice. That's better, pardon me. So when you're doing your website, you want to make sure that it really converts. So I've had this problem on my website, but it's improved a lot lately. So you got to make sure, if traffic goes to your website's good enough in itself to get leads. So You want to have a good chat with your web developer, your website person. I definitely recommend getting a website person. Doing it yourself, unless you're a web person yourself, yeah, I don't really recommend doing it yourself. So what you want to do is think about if someone visits your website, how does your website go in sort of guiding someone interested in your services to actually a lead coming in? So if you're selling an online product, be it they click buy, or be it they send you an email saying, oh, hi Paul, I'm interested in your video services. Okay, so you really want to sort of think that through. Now, again, I'm not here to sort of talk about websites too much tonight. This is obviously more aimed at blogging, types of webinar, but I just want to give a few free tips just on website conversion. Again, this is a conversation to have with your web person, a good web person, a very mediocre or a pretty poor web person, in my opinion, is just does technical work. A great web person gives you strategic advice and actually helps you sell online. So here are a few things, and feel free to get all your questions through. Make sure here's a few things on website conversion tips. Websites are endless. You'll be forever updating them. You'll never ever get them perfect. Number two, you want very, very clear messaging and wording on your website. You want to be absolutely clear in how it works. Three, a beautiful layout. It looks crisp and professional. Four, and you want to make sure your strategy or your website's intelligent, and even if you would buy it, because if you look at your website and it makes you sick, it makes the market sick. Five, a great video. I'm sure Paul, who does videos, are like that. Six, clear, simple flow. Seven, the wording makes sense and is well written. Now, I'm a copywriter, and I do a lot of copywriting myself. It's a secondary service I sell to a lot of clients. But what I will say though is, make sure that make sure that it's well written. If you can't write, you don't have to hire me. But feel free to get yourself a copywriter and hire them, even though I do a lot of copy, so I can help you out now if you're completely stuck. 8 is fair prices. Make sure you're not ripping people off and everything makes sense. 9, a great external campaign to warm people up. So if you're sending traffic to your website, please make sure that you're sending a great post. So if you're, let's say, putting your blogs through Facebook, doing posts on Facebook of your blog to send people to your website, make sure it's the right context. So, if you've got a blog on home loans, make sure you say it's a blog on home loans so people who are clicking at the right expectation get the right experience. And Rebecca's asking for your website, Paul, so please send it to me and I'll send her a website. So Paul's going to get some business. And 10 is a strong call to action. So, and if anything, my website's actually going through a few upgrades now. A few fair criticisms of my website have been the call to action hasn't been as strong as it should have. So, I haven't quite gotten the sales that I am getting now, for example. So, call strong to action, which basically means buy. So there you go. There's some of my main tips. If you've got any questions, love you to send them through. We're sort of reaching the end of this presentation. And here's a big advice that I give you. Work out your next step and take instant action. And as I always say, the market doesn't reward ideas, but effective implementation of those ideas. And like what I always say, please test and measure. If something's not working, do less of it. But if something's working well, back up the truck. And, really get the most out of it. Always cut losers and ride winners. So, look, I hope that helps. Feel free to get me the questions. Right here to help you. Oh, you've got a great one. How long do you make the blogs? A good question. Look, sometimes Heath Thompson's asked this question. Sometimes I've made blogs about, 1,000 words because I'm writing about a topic I'm passionate about. But look, to be honest, if just talking more commercially, 250 to 350 words is fine. So you got to remember, usually a quick point with relevant content works pretty well. But it depends. Like sometimes you just write a topic which you just love, but sometimes it's quite quick. So get them through. So, hey, look, if you guys like tonight's webinar, you need some help. I'm a small business marketing mentor. I help out my clients in many ways. I've got free webinars as you've been on. I've got networking events, online products, and personal mentoring, which is available. So feel free to check me out on that one. And here we go. Len's got a great question here. An artist who has a Facebook presence, should this be linked to blogging? Is there heaps of followers where people post items? Great point. So actually photographers and artists is a great example that Len's brought up. So, what can actually happen is that, let's say you're a photographer or, an artist, right? There's two ways of doing it. Actually, in fact, one of my clients is a premium catering company. I can't say who they are because we're doing some confidential work, but they've got a blog and they're doing some email marketing. And with those guys, they're absolutely amazing. And they actually have a blog which showcases their products, and the products are amazing. So they've got a Facebook page and a blog. So they might put a photo of some of their amazing food or, events that they do out on Facebook, and then they might blog it out as well. And then they might share the blog through Facebook. So heaps of way of doing it. And thank you, Donna. I'm glad you liked it. So get all your questions through. I'm just sort of talking through what I can do. And just so you guys know as well, I'm an active blogger. There's the link to my website there. If you go excellenceabove.com.au, you don't have to type in that link. If you just go to my main website, and at the top it says the Edward Files, if you click there, you'll get my blog. So feel free to check out my blogs. We did speak about blogging today. And also as well, it's just got some great tips in there. My adventures across the world, which I've just come back from a trip, and also business, selling, marketing, and all those sort of great areas. The other thing I'd love to mention as well while I've got you is the Awesome Marketing Vault. It's my online course which captures tons of my knowledge. It's perfect for entrepreneurs and small business owners who want to learn more sales and marketing strategies. Visit my website, excellenceabove.com.au. And like always, if you need me for one-on-one mentoring or consulting or anything like that, please let me know. I do one-on-one mentoring for a lot of great people, can help you out there, public speaking, consulting. So there you go. I've done enough selling to you, I think a little bit of selling. But yeah, look, that's pretty much it. My email address is there. Love to, have you along. And look, thank you very much. It's been a great webinar. Feel free to check out my products and services and ask me any questions. I'm going to stop the recording now and take and just pass out a few details afterwards. But guys, thank you so much for an awesome time. I've loved it. And keep up the great work, everyone. And this is Edward's Ears signing out. Thank you, Australia and worldwide.